Alright, I'm gonna click E immediately. This is automatically gonna bring me here. Extended working hours in the laws, select all of the country and get electronic factories. So when I loaded in the game, I immediately spammed E, country, laws, scroll all the way down and get extended. Then, next up, technology, research, right click these, it should be yellow sign over here. Then get infantry improvements, body armor, eco skills, small arms, anti-tank, and cybernetic infantry. Afterwards, military section, doctrines, land, static lines, military planning, fortification network. Afterwards, policies, ignore safety regulations and bump this up to 3. Economic laws. Then, as you can see, I made 4 factories, which means that I need 8 gold and 8 copper, because 1 is 2 gold and 2 copper. In order to do that, I already have the gold, so I just need to buy 4 copper units. You can buy from whoever you want. We also have a Zimbabwe player, which is a great demonstration because I'm going to be beating him up. In order to experiment, in order to demonstrate, for educational purposes, we're going to absolutely cook this guy. 100. We're going to go ahead, copy paste, and just sell. You want to sell as fast as humanly possible. Now, the reason I'm able to sell, even though it's a public server, I'm able to sell faster than the others, is because I did the laws and extended thing at the start of the game, right when I loaded in. That allowed me to get a solid head start, and no one else does this. Okay. Now, some people are selling, but I've got a solid head start, which made me gain a huge advantage in terms of economy. Sell 2, sell 2. I was a bit slow. I could have more 5 trades, but it's absolutely alright. At the end of the day, the economy should still be massive. Keep selling. Boom. We have an economy of about 10 million, 9.8 million. Immediately go to spendings, research, education, government, and military. You want these always up, always. Maybe we can squeeze in a bit more trades. 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, you need to constantly expand. I have 100 mil. South Africa is the best nation for beginners, so always play it. Or play bigger nations. I'm gonna go and make the following things. Always do this. Steel, fertilizer, motor, and I'm gonna make 3 civilian factories. I need a bit more to make another one. Alright. And now the basic economic setup is done. Justify war goal over here and maybe over here. You can declare war on who you want. I justified on these two, so. Am I recording? Yeah. Next up, you have political power. This resource is used for ideologies, policies, and laws. I spent 75 at the start of the game in order to get this. What you can do now, leaders. This is purely RNG. What you want to prioritize, military leaders, general of the army, chief of staff, and fort expert. These give you insane buffs. I got very lucky because I got all of them over here, so I'm just gonna get them. Usually you're supposed to go over here, but that is stuff that I'm not gonna get into since it's too complex. Alright. Let's see, if there is a factory supply over here, that means that I lack some resources, but I don't think I do. So I'm invading these two, so I'm gonna split in half. One goes here and one goes over here. Could mountain train them, but I won't do that. And there's no, actually we are lacking a bit of phosphate, so I could go ahead and just buy 1 phosphate. And that's it. Now, because of that, we make 170 consumer goods. Now, if you see factory supply over here in red, you see a red box here where I'm pointing. Just hover over it, your mouse, and just see what you need to buy. You should be making 100 or more. Now, Don't sell to countries with a yellow name. Don't do this for Relax. Don't do only to countries with a white name. Do the same thing for electronics. Only to countries with a white name. You can sell more than 5. I'm only selling 5 because there's not a lot of big nations you can sell to. 5, 6, 6. They accepted. 6, 5. Saudi Arabia accepts 15. Huge oil supplies. 2. The Zimbabwe player did make tanks, so we're gonna do the same exact thing. Let us just buy first oil, because South Africa doesn't have any oil, so we're gonna buy oil so we don't immediately get into an oil shortage. And I'm just gonna spawn some tanks. Next up, let's go and invade Dum. Okay, war declaration block because I'm too close. Awesome. Now, if you don't have more to sell to, as you can see here, I don't have a lot of countries to sell to, it's only small ones, then just sell the rest. 136, I'm gonna sell 136, or 135 is good as well. Internal market. Now you have that. I'm gonna also go ahead and get Advanced Research Bureau. Zimbabwe declared war on me, or at least they justify war. Okay, let's go ahead and not lose all of our... Okay, he declared war on me. Now what we can do is we can get Star Defense, and I can just go split my tanks, and I will get huge entrenchment bonuses. I'm very happy that this is a player and he declared war on me, because we can demonstrate what do you do in this scenario. There's more tanks over here, so he's gonna try to snipe my industrial parts. We have more than him, so we just do this. He immediately dies. Now, it's a losing battle over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna come from behind and I'm gonna get a flank bonus. I'm gonna get a blow bonus here because I'm attacking from 2 different sides. He'll probably want to piece me now because I think he regrets this. I don't know why he did this. Next up, in order to invade things fast, you'll get this. Select it is better. Hold shift, draw random lines wherever you want. Okay, he wants to piece me now, he regrets. I'm gonna get this infantry out of the way. Okay, it's split very poorly, so I'm gonna do it again. You can keep splitting. I'm gonna turn this on so that it doesn't, because it's split very poorly. Okay, and now I'm just gonna Zimbabwe. No, Zimbabwe. Alright, let's get out of here. Now, I'm gonna go ahead, get these, and I'm gonna flank. Make sure that this is off so they don't merge. And as you can see, he gets demolished because I attacked from multiple sides. And I also have more than him. Very nice. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna get you. I'm also gonna justify on you. You. For some reason it doesn't let me because I'm too far. Okay, did he leave? He didn't leave the game. When you take a country over that has factories, make sure to delete them because they're gonna mess up your industry. So take this, for example, this city, Cthulhu, and delete the factories. Delete B. Press B, delete all of the factories when you take a country with factories because they will mess your industry up. Delete it. You don't need it. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and invade Botswana. Capture all Botswana. I'm gonna go ahead and invade them. Here I'm gonna go ahead and invade Lesotho. I'm gonna take 1 city. Maybe they charge over. If they do go defensive, then I'm gonna split them and go like that. Split them. Make sure this is off. And with that, you can get a flag bonus. But they're gonna get heavy bonuses because they're on terrain that is mountainous. But I still win because I attacked them from 2 different sides. Alright, we win these. Charge is over. Now I get bonuses from entrenching. And half. Alright, peak. Now, I got all of Zimbabwe. I'm gonna annex them. Make sure that you right click this. And you take it over. Now, I'm gonna get money. With this money, you want to immediately develop your nation. You select, now to select all of your cores, just press on a city, click on this little flag and it will put all of your cores. Press B, develop city. You want to constantly develop. You never want to not develop. If you get caught not developing, then you're gonna lag behind. T-Tech. Okay, our technology is constantly upgrading, so we're constantly getting more buffs. And let's also do, what do we need? So go to country. We can see what do we need to form this formable. This will give us cores on all of this. See, we took Zimbabwe, and their cities have a little smoke over them. That's because they have unrest. So this million city gives us only 14k in taxes. A city with the same amount of population, even less, because that is 1.8 and 1.7 and this is 1.1, but it doesn't have a smoke over it, makes 4 times more. That is simply because when you take over a nation, they have unrest. Now this goes by time. As you keep playing the game, it will just fade away and you'll earn more and more from your cities. We can now take Botswana. Now, in order to be significantly faster, as you can see, we can go and see biomes. Here, it's a desert biome. This makes your troops slower and they also take attrition way faster. In order to fix this, what we can do is we can halt our troops, halt, and press select them, start training, right click, and press arid specialization. This will make them, after this is finished, they will gain more speed, attack, and they will take less attrition in the respective biome. You can do this for mountain as well. Now split in half if you want, and Lesotho. Let's also annex Botswana. Yeah, you didn't need to do the thing. I just did it because of instinct. Military. You have 300. When you hit 300, you can go to military leaders, recruit your leader, and usually you want to prioritize attack. Now, this guy, we got an attack guy. Attack. This is very good. Bunker Buster. It gives attack against entrench, occupation speed, and attack against fortify. We'll pick him up. Alright. Now we have him. We need to get him, assign him, and assign him to South African Army. And he will be assigned. Then we need to take all of our troops, assign group, South African Army. They are now part of a group, and they will gain the bonuses from this general. Let's go ahead and invade. They are now arid specialized, so now they move way faster. And Namibia. Now you can also spawn troops by simply Kutululu, then V, then infantry. As you go in the game, by the way, I forgot to develop, my mistake. Keep on developing. Now, as you go into the game, at first you use tanks because they're way better, like in everything. Tanks are way better than infantry at the start of the game. But as the game keeps going, people will start getting anti-tank. And as the lobby, as players, the Russia player, the France player, you will fight them, or maybe even the Nigeria player, because it's a player, they will be getting anti-tank. And they will be able to beat your tanks with infantry. So when you get anti-tank, when this becomes green, now it's 0.5, when it's 5.5, when it auto-researches, you shall delete your tanks and just replace them all with infantry. They cost more manpower, but they're less expensive and they deal more damage to tanks if you have anti-tank. We took that over there. Let's declare war on you. I need to justify first. Perfect. Alright. Now, here. A very important law. I don't make a lot of PP. Usually You can make a lot, you also could make less. I don't have a lot of political power, but once this hits 200, I will immediately get limited conscription. What limited conscription does, it is doubles your manpower. Now I make plus 3,000 manpower. You can see over there manpower increase. It will make it so it's plus 6,000. It's actually more than double. It will be 6,000, but it can also be 7,000. I think it's 7,000. It doubles your manpower. It is absolutely wild, and no one really gets it. So once this hits 200, immediately get limited conscription. I'm gonna get Lesotho. Now I don't need to take all of Namibia's cities. I can just select cities, add to selection Namibia, or I can just select like that. And yeah. And I'm one country away from forming. What forming does, it makes these cities no longer have unrest, so they will give the maximum income and manpower possible. Eins, zwei, Polizei, good idea. I almost forgot to develop. Now it costs a little too much, so it costs 400, I only have 300. That's why you need to constantly justify and expand, so I'm gonna keep going. The more you invade, the more countries you invade, the more money you will gain from the treasure. When you do the treaty thing, you can get their money, and you will, as you keep invading, you will stack up a lot of money, and you use that money to develop your cities. Now I don't have enough, so what I can do is I can only develop a part of my nation, but I will still be developing. So I only develop like this part, or this part, until I no longer have money. Alright, now, let's just go and get Eswatini. It'll automatically gang Eswatini, it will jump them. Let's see what else we got here. What you can also do is, if you have more electronics left to spare, you can also just go and build electronic factories more. You can sell to the internal market. Here it's 52. If you sell 52.85, you'll gain plus 15% research output, minus 50% developed city costs, so it will cost less, and you won't have 10% less on education spending. Okay, we took their capital. Now, stability. You don't want this to get low. If stability gets low, your country will start collapsing and countries will declare independence. You'd never want that. To keep it high, there are certain policies, leaders. For example, there is the Welfare Act. Where is it? Should be somewhere over here. Unfortunately, I can't find it. There it is. Welfare Act. Minus 5% tax income, base stability plus 5. There is also research. Over here in political, there is this. So you can gain up to plus 15% stability, because it's 0.15. Now, I'm gonna move eco skills up a bit because it is more important. You don't have to do it. Now let's just peace. And now I can go and form South African Union. This, now I gain maximum from this. So I used to gain 15k, now 51k. I gain significantly more income. And now I went from like number 12 or something, I'm now number 8, with Germany being slightly better. No, I don't want to play Steal a Brain Rot. Come on. This guy used to play Ron, by the way. Like, I can't believe, how do you downgrade like that? Ignore. Now let me just keep invading countries so that I gain more income. Let's keep doing that. Capture all. Capture all. And it will automatically invade everyone. And you keep piecing out, and as you keep gaining money, you can just keep developing and you will gain even more taxes. As you can see, I think I doubled almost my tax income. Or if you want more, you can just go and get high taxation settings. Or even maximum. Keep it at high. This will make it so now I get 4 million. The problem with this is that now your stability will be decreasing. Rise of Nations is a public solvent game. If you see your stability decreasing, you can up healthcare spending and security spending. This will make it so it goes back to normal. Peak. I have 200, so I can go to laws. I can get limited conscription, and I make 4,600. Now, I shall make 11,000. So I make double the manpower for basically nothing. It's only a minus 10% tax income and some other debuffs, but you gain double the manpower. Now I don't have enough money from developing. You can check how developed your cities are by going over here in city tier. As you can see, this is how developed my country is compared to everyone else. The only other countries who have been developing, I see Algeria over here. They only make 1 million. And I see Kazakhstan, which makes 800k. I also see Iceland. It boosts your manpower. So this is why you need to constantly develop, because the more you develop, the more tax you will make, so you'll get even more in economic, you'll get even more of a bigger economy, and you will also get more manpower. And to be able to support a military, you need two things. You need income, because they cost money. As you can see, I'm spending 4 million just on that. So all of my tax goes to here, basically. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but still. And you also need manpower, because if you want to spawn infantry in order to be able to defeat countries with tanks, because you have anti-tank, let's say, I can only make 300k. But I make double the manpower. Back then, if I didn't get this, it's possible I would have only had like 100k. We got this. Let's just piece it out. We got this. Let's just piece it out. And as you can see, I just gained like 200 million more money, which allows me to develop, not fully. I can go to city tier and I can see which parts are not as developed. This part, not as developed. Develop. I'm gonna develop this part automatically because it's a region of our country that is very industrial and also makes us a lot of money and manpower. Move over here. No Congo player. We can now get Angola, DRC. Just constant expansion. Just keep taking stuff. And as you keep doing that, you'll gain even more money. Deficit. I'm losing more money than I make. What am I spending money on? I see military upkeep. What I can do is I can delete some of this I made, or I can delete some of my tanks, and I will no longer be spending as much on military upkeep. I could also just lower some of this, and yeah, I'm gonna keep it on though. Low stability I detect? Well, healthcare, security. Stability is decreasing because as you take more countries, you are less stable, which is why constant increase over here. Deficit, once again, I could also just go ahead and I can show you a tactic. Doesn't work though. Let's get a Fort expert, and now I have all three of the military leaders. You need to prioritize this. It's RNG, so it's random what leaders you get. But if you see any of these three, get them immediately. They give insane buffs. Now, obviously, to fix the deficit, you could just remove your spendings or remove some of your military. Now you won't spend as much, or you could just go to consumer goods and see what countries are AI, and you can just sell some of it to them. You will be making more money. Now, DRC, Angola, this is that. Let's capture all. Now, I'm starting to get anti-tank. You can shift, click, and it will go to the highest priority in research. Now that I'm starting to get anti-tank, I can safely, very safely actually, just remove my tanks. But I will keep them for a bit so I can continue this invasion. They're really slow. Something I can do is just train them for jungle specialization. And let's train these as well. They train faster in jungle, but I don't really care. We're gonna train them. Training consumes more money, so I'm spending twice as more on this because I'm training it. Hence why deficit. After it trains though, it will go back to costing basically nothing. And you just keep taking. Something else you can do is you can also get country policies, improve infrastructure. This increases your tax income by 10%. So I could get rid of my deficit or basically make it zero. There we go. Simply because I put this 10% increase. They're now jungle spec. So let's go and capture all. This one is almost jungle spec. I will go back to normal once this trains. Alright. It is now jungle trained, so let's send it up here. Winning. When you see technology available, or sometimes it's bugged, it just shows it even though you don't have. Now it's here. When you see this, it means that you can research something. So don't waste it. Don't let it leak. This is like elixir leaking in Clash Royale. You want to constantly research. These three are queuing up. I can research something else along them. So I will go to economy, right click, and I will get this. I will basically research this in order to get even more tax income. My troops have arrived. They were 250k. They took a bit of damage because of attrition. We can now split them, select them, capture all. Now my troops will automatically capture whatever they see. I can also just go and I can just spawn some troops over here because this is core territory. You cannot spawn in territories that you invaded, so it's not possible. It won't let me, no matter how much I try. And you also can't spawn in territories with high unrest. If your unrest is over this yellow line, you can't spawn troops. Mine is under, so I can actually spawn troops, but they will come a bit slower. Now I should be developing, as I said, but I need money. So this is why I'm taking these two over. The AI update. Now, as you can see, because of my technology and also my military leaders and the leader over here, I beat their troops. I had 10k, they had 10k, but they get absolutely decimated. What I can do is I can go over here, attack them from 2 times, even though it's less troops. And it will gain a massive buff, allowing me actually to even defeat that troop. If not, you can obviously bring reinforcements and make yourself win the battle. Here I pushed deep into the Congo. It's taking attrition because it's heavy jungle. I'm not going to bring anything, we just want that anyway. Capture all. I can also develop my other lands. As you can see, I own these lands, but I didn't develop them. I can just go over here, develop this. I can go over here, develop this, and develop Zimbabwe. Can also develop Mozambique. And I'm going to develop the lands that I also forgot, sadly, to develop. I don't need to take everything here. You only need to take 90% of the country. You don't need to take everything. Here, there is 21% of the Angolese nation left. Once it says 10% there or under, I will be able to fully annex them. Now go over there. Now, the reason this interaction is a loss, which is why I will bring it back. The reason that's loss is because they're camping on jungle. If you're going to camp on jungle, you're going to be obliterated. As in, if he camps on jungle, my troops are going to be obliterated. Even if I have technology, leaders, everything, they're also training troops, so my level is below theirs, so they have a better level because they're training their troops, and also they're camping, sitting, not moving on jungle terrain, which gives them immense defensive bonuses. If the name becomes yellow, you can take them. For me, it's not yellow. What about here? Here it's yellow. If the name becomes yellow, you can go over here, select everything, select cities, and just take everything. And even though I didn't take everything, well, it will annex it. If you see leader upgrade, click it, military leaders, and you can upgrade it. There are certain buffs you can pick. Desert Fox, it will give you attack in arid. This will make my troops better in mountains. This one will give my troops better defense. This will make my troops faster. And Florina Shakali. Wonderful. Jungle Warrior. I'm getting Jungle Warrior because I'm mostly going to be fighting in jungle. What you want? What?
Take that group. Take the group.
Which one?
They got him crying. They got him crying.
Let me see. Let me see. We can now take the Congo. It's very important to note that the more countries you annex, the more you spend over here. So if I annex Congo, I will actually spend more on that, which is not ideal. Ideologies, you can either pick nationalism, liberalism and democracy, socialism, you need 250. I don't have that, but I can get monarchism. Gives me base stability, tax income, manpower increase, at the cost of ideology power, but it doesn't matter because I don't have an ideology, and a res reduction, which it will debuff, this will go down slower. We can now afford to develop some of our nation. Can also develop a capital. Capital gets slightly less, more tax. We make 16,000. Let's see countries that didn't develop. For example, Germany. They only make 5,000. They only have one development, and that is because Germany starts with an extra development because they are a European country. Let's see other nations. Nigeria, making only 2,500. Other nations that didn't develop. United States, I think, does make more than us. Nope. The United States makes less manpower than us. That is because we developed our cities, they didn't, and we got limited conscription. As for economy, the United States makes 27, we make 18. That is because we make 6 million from trade and 8 million from tax. at the start of the game, I made all of my money, basically all of it, from factories. So I made 9 million income, 10 million because it's 6 million from trades and 4 million from just spawning them because you get a bonus. So I made 10 million income simply from the factories in the game. But as you go further into the game, you will start basing yourself on tax income. So keep developing. As you take countries, use their money and keep developing so you can get more tax. Get technologies. I already got 1 out of 10. And you can also get policies, improve infrastructure, and even leaders like a finance minister. Now, technology available. What can you get afterwards? You can go mechanized, advanced. These two will make your troops go faster and take over cities faster. And I can also get political. Get this in order to get more political power, and this for more stability. Now, let's go and take that. We can probably take over the Congo now. Yup. Select cities. Select everything. And I will have all of them. Now, I could even go in a deficit. Why? Because the more you annex, the more you have to spend. So I'm gonna cut down on these spendings until this Congo land gets down on rest so I can actually get some money from them. Rising corruption. To fix this, you can either go and get a cheap judge, but this is RNG. I got lucky, so get the better one. This one is better than this, so I'm gonna get him, and it should fix my problem. Matter of fact, minus 0.2, so now I can get rid of my anti-corruption spending, because why would I spend money on anti-corruption when I have a cheap judge? Now, my empire spans half of Africa. The Egyptians, which had the same amount of time as me, why are they worse off than me? They make less manpower than me. I make 18,000. Less income. I make 9 million. Why is that the case? That is because, first of all, they haven't got as good of an industry as me, which means they haven't sold as many electronics as me. They were not fast enough to sell electronics. They didn't develop their nation while I did using the money, so I kept invading. I got the money from the countries I invaded and I developed. He did not do that, and it's possible he didn't get this law. He probably doesn't have military leaders, and maybe he doesn't have policies, and yeah. I have a lot of military power. I can get a sport, I can get a naval doctrine, and I can even get an aerial doctrine. These are the best. You get live flotilla hunter killers, this, and that's it. Let me keep assigning my stuff because some are not assigned. If you want to assign them automatically, you can just select all of your country, V, assign ground to group, South African Army. This was a tutorial. As you can see, by 2023 your infantry are basically maxed out fully. So just keep spamming infantry, delete all of your tanks. I'm gonna delete all of my tanks. So just keep spamming infantry and just keep invading. If you find yourself in a player war, it's probably not gonna be good. If you have a bigger economy, bigger manpower, and you have better technology on your troops, you will be able to defeat them. And with this strategy, it's guaranteed to have that because my strategy involves continuous developing, which gives you more manpower, economy, everything. Deficit. Now, this is because I spawned an army. Troops are expensive if you spawn them a lot. So what you can do is you can remove their upkeep. I can go over here, policies, military service act. What this does is it makes me spend less on military. So instead of 10 million, I only spend 9 million. This removes some of my deficit. And military service act also gives manpower increase. Or you could go to research, economy, and you can get streamlined logistics, but I usually don't go for that since it's useless anyway. You just want to research in infantry. You can also just neglect your deficit by just continuously taking over nations and you won't go in debt. if you go in debt, so you have minus money, your army will start having better debuffs. That means it will be worse off, and you can no longer build anything, which is it is crippling, if you might say. Tick available. That's what I was about to say when I said that it's bugged. Sometimes it just puts it there. Now, disband. You don't do that if you want to keep going. I'm just gonna do that because I'm gonna leave. And I can also just release all. If you want to release a nation, for example, Lesotho, release, and I can take it over again to just get more money. Or I can release a nation, a big nation, in order to not have as many spendings. Don't do it though. It's usually not worth it.